Welcome everybody. I hope you've all had a good week. So let's get on with making this junk journal. So I made quite a few little pages last week as we did some on together, and I continued and did a few more just using the scraps like we did last time. Now what I've done is put them all together, and I've literally just put one inside the other, and you must make sure you find your center, and then you need to secure the edges so that the paper doesn't move around when you're trying to put the holes in. So I haven't got too many. If I was going to make a big junk journal, I might just put a few pages together, and they're called signatures. This is called a signature. But I'm just going to use these today and just make just a few pages with this one, because you can put them together in sheets of 2 or 3 or 4 depending on how big you want your signatures to be. Now this is what I've decided is going to be my front cover. Now this is an eco print. See my before video on eco printing, and I had this piece of paper stuck to some cardboard that I was going to use for something else, so I decided to use this as the cover for my junk journal. So it was already stuck on cardboard, so I unfortunately cut it too small, because if you're gonna cut cardboard in for your junk journal, you need to make sure your junk journal pages are going to fit into it, which this does just about. It doesn't matter if you have a little bit of overlap, because you can always, I've got one sheet of paper which is a bit longer than the others, but that's because I'd stuck this bag to it so that I could have it as a little pocket, and the bag was quite wide, but that's okay for this purpose, that's fine. It will just overhang a little bit. So you want to make sure you've got enough width on your cardboard. Now if you're using cardboard that is not too thin, you should just be able to fold it, but I didn't make enough width for mine, so what I had to do was cut an extra little bit of cardboard and just glue the edges to extend the cardboard so that I had a spine. Can you see there? I've just glued this bit, leaving a gap that I can then fold, and that gives me the spine of a book. Now what I'm going to do, just to strengthen that spine a little bit, make sure you know which way you want your top and bottom to be, is I'm just going to use some tape to go around it, some pretty tape. This is lovely tape from a company called Cascade, and it's recycled paper. So all I'm going to do is stick this front and back and wrap it all the way around. And I'm going to go off camera so I can try and get it level, and I'll come back and it will be done. So there we go. I've put that along the side so it makes it look a little bit neater. I'll trim that edge a little bit later, and then it opens up. Now the inside I just lined with this kind of Halloween-y, I don't know whether you can tell, but it's the backing layer of a Halloween napkin. So I just used that on the inside of this one. So you can use any paper you like, or you can just paint directly onto the cardboard. If you're using paper to line it, you can of course make the paper larger than the outsides and then wrap it around, and then stick another sheet of paper over the top of the wrapped edges, depending on how neat you want your journal to look, and depending on whether you want these edges covered. I'm not bothered about these sort of edges, but if you want to make it look really neat, you can cover them. Now you can use any tape for this. You can use washi tape, which has got a nice design on, or you could just use another piece of the same paper that you cover your journal with. Doesn't matter. But anyway, once you've got that sorted, you need to come back to your pieces, decide on where you want it to go. and where is going to be your centre. I'm just going to include that now. In there. And then you need to get your little tool. Now you can measure. If you want it to be completely accurate, you could measure to the centre. But I've got lots of, and you can also use 3 holes. I'm only going to use 2. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to drop that down a little bit. I'm using 2 because I've used pages of different sizes in here. And because I've used pages of different sizes, if I use 3 different holes, I'll catch kind of the edge of some of the pages. So I'm just going to use 2, even though these pieces of paper are quite large. So what you want to do is find the because I'm just doing 2 holes, not 3. I'm going to find roughly where the centre of the piece of paper is, which would be kind of there. And I'm just going to put 1 little hole above it and poke it all the way through to the cardboard. And then I'm going to do another hole a bit further down. And again, poke it all the way through to the cardboard. And then you just need to get your needle and thread. Now this thread is thread that came in a bookbinding kit that I was gifted for Christmas last year. And this is wax lined thread, which just means that it's a bit tougher, a bit stronger, and it will glide through your paper a little bit easier. But you can use any thread if you're just making this for yourself. Any leftover thread is good. So whether you start from the middle or the outside depends on whether you want your knots to be on the middle or on the outside. Now, I like my knots to be on the outside, so I'm going to start on the outside. So you just want to push it through all of your pages and come through, leaving a little tail there. Thread it back through all of your pages again. Finding that hole. Pull it nice and taut so you've got the string in the middle. And then you're just going to tie a knot. And just make sure it's a good thing about wax thread as well, is that it doesn't tend to come unknotted again too much. And that's pretty much it. And then you can just cut your ties. And there, your book is bound. And then you can take off your and that is a very, very simple bookbinding method. Now, you will find when you're doing things like this, and I didn't do it centrally, look, so it's just a little bit lower. So if you were doing it properly, you'd want to make sure it was central. But I don't mind that, it's just a demonstration for today. And we've got that little overhang, which is where the big pocket is, but that's okay. Now what I like to do is then take a ribbon, because you will find that these books don't close very well, is you just take a ribbon or another bit of string and just tie it to that piece of string, and then you can wrap it around and just have it as a tie for the book. And there you go. I would demonstrate that for you, but I don't think, oh wait a minute, I think I might have I have here, just for today, I could use this nice bit of lace that I just had in this drawer. Let's just see if I can thread that through. might not be able to do it. It might be too thick. There. Just as an example, I just happen to have this actually. It looks quite nice, so I might keep it there. And then you can close your book. And actually that looks quite nice. And let me just show you all of the finished pages, because obviously when you pull that tie there, it'll be secured in the binding. And these are just some of the designs that we did last week. And some extra ones that I did. And you see there I've used a red envelope. I put this across because it had a name and address on it. And I've used the whole envelope, and it's just given me little pockets there, so you can make little things to slot in. And there's the centre of our binding. Pages are a little bit wobbly in this one because I did quite a small binding. I probably should have gone a bit bigger. But what I might do is go back and just do an extra. I'm just trying to make quite a short video, so it's quite just a demonstration purpose really. And there's a little envelope there, little tab. So now this is ready to write in. And add anything I want. So have a great week. I'm just going to show you actually, I'm working on a new painting, and I might continue a little bit more with you next week if I'm still working on it. I'll start another one. I just wanted to show you that. So this is a new piece that I'm working on, just using my natural homemade paints from Earth Pigments. We have some different clays in this, this purple colour, kind of light purpley colour, is purple slate. The black is paint made from soot from my chimney, and this browny colour is a clay, and the white is limestone. And those are the colours that I've used so far. So I'm going to continue working on this over the next week, and I might show you a little bit more of its progress. So take care, have a great week everybody. Bye.